Hey guys, Ash here, watcher of Realms. Welcome to the video. Happy to have you all here with me today. Sending some love, some positive vibes your way, especially if you need it out there today. Hey, we have an updated top 10 tanks of the game, top 10 defenders of the game. This game's actually really cool, especially when it comes to defenders, one of my favorite classes of hero, because there's such diversity in terms of what each defender brings to the table in this game. Some are great for control, some are good for some damage as well. Some are good for just kind of other unorthodox abilities that you wouldn't expect a defender to have. And some are good at just being old-fashioned tanks, right? So there's going to be a little bit of everything in this top 10 update. It's been about 6 months since we've done a top 10 in the classes here. So I might follow it up with fighters and healers and whatnot, mages, marksmen beyond this as well. Let me know if you want to see that. But coming in at number 10, just to cut to it here, I actually have George or Jorge. I really, really love this dude. He's an epic defender, a chaotic and cultist epic defender. I want to say the only epic defender in either of these factions. So right away, you're going to get tons of utility out of him out the gate just for the fact that he's an epic defender in factions that really need more defenders, right? So he's a great addition to the game. He's pretty cheap, 13 cost. But the best thing about him is, sure, he's a good defender. He has a 3 block, right? His stats aren't that bad. He's easier to awaken because, yeah, he's an epic and not a legendary. But he has damage mitigation built into his kit, even more on awakening, so great for a tank, obviously. He has really, really good damage, right? Damage over time and damage reduction. So he's a tank that deals a lot of damage. His damage does scale off defense. He has this plague dynamic that deals AoE damage, and it spreads. It's the plague, right? So really one of my favorite on the entire list, coming in at number 10. Number 9 on the list is going to be Captain Reeve. Is one of those defenders, one of those heroes in the game who really is a lot more than just a defender, right? He's actually not the best. I don't think he'd make the top 10 if I was just basing it on tankage, right? But he's actually deals really, really solid damage, especially considering he's a defender, but he's got a lot of control as well. So we're looking at kind of a damage and a control defender who, you know, he can block and fill in a pinch and tank for your team, but really it's that damage, the stun, the perma kind of AoE slow, and all the control that he brings to the table that puts him in at number 8 on the list. Number 8 on the list is actually Regulus. My boy, the Lion. I like Regulus, guys. I really slept on him for a while. He was one of the first legendary defenders that I actually summoned on my account. I kind of built him wrong. Not enough attack speed. As much as you can attack speed on him so you can take advantage of the basic attack where he gets rage regen off of the basic attack. But really, his claim to fame is the ally protection, if you will, raid viewers out there, right? Or damage mitigation on allies in range. Unique and hard to find in this game. It's kind of the ground version of maybe a a little bit different in terms of the way that it actually is implemented in the battle, but really nice to have there. He also has a revive on death ability. Just a really, really solid overall tank. Maybe not quite as versatile as some of the defenders that we're going to talk about later on the list, but I think he's really, really, just really good, solid option for mitigation, not for your, just overall a really good, solid option, not only for the mitigation on your team, but also just as a standard tank for your squad. Okay, next up on number, well, I feel like I should give one honorable or shout out to King Hars, who won't be on the list today. I have King Hars. I'm not a big fan of King Hars. You know, he's not trash. He's not like awful. He's definitely usable in a variety of situations, but I love him because of his Lord skill. But I don't think just a Lord skill should be enough to, because half the time that I use, actually 75% of the time that I use King Hars, I don't even really need to use King Hars. I just use that shield ability, which is so good on his Lord skill. So honorable mention. Now coming in at number 7 is going to be another epic on the list. It's Baron. I was going to say the defenders have the best epics, but there's a lot of good epics and healers as well, to be fair, and in really across the board in marksman, you know. But Baron, though, he's an epic defender, one of my personal faves. This guy, he has for an epic, excuse me, base stats aren't that bad, you know, at max level compared to some other epic defenders in the game. So he's tanky, but this dude is a tank's tank. He's everything that you want from just a good old meat shield. Two biggest things that I look for are unkillable in terms of sustainability, keep them alive longer, right? And he's got that. And he also has a big shield, right? So those are the two things that I really, really want on my tanks. Got that big shield. If you get him fully awakened, he recovers 50% of his health at the end of his unkillable as well. He just gets the job done. He's got a little bit of self-heal when awakened as well. Shield, unkillable. What more do you want? Number 6 on the list is going to be Torador. Now, again, like I said on King Hars, I didn't include lords as like extra bonus just because they're hard to get, you know? So scarcity is not really factored into this list. But Torador still makes the list, right? Torador is obviously a Nightmare Lord, which is great because Nightmare is super, super popular. We get Wrath like right out the gate in the game. But I guess on the flip side of that, we get Wrath right out the gate in this game. So Wrath is also an epic lord in Nightmare. So even though he's great, legendary Nightmare Lord, and his lord power obviously is a bit more powerful than Wrath's, excuse me. But, you know, it's a little redundant too, considering we have him for free. That being said, he's a great lord. It's weird, man, because this guy has really pretty solid stats overall, right? However, he doesn't feel super tanky to me. He never has. He was the first lord that I unlocked on my account as well, by the way, guys. To me, yeah, sure, he can absolutely tank, you know, like from artifact material raid or something like that. But when we get towards like the more challenging content, to me, he's a little bit different. He's all about stuns in debuffs, right? Each attack inflicts defensive reduction by 20% on the target for 5 seconds. He's really just one of the best debuffers out there with a decreased defense on basically his basic attack, right? So yeah, love that. He also has an a revive on death mechanic in his kit as well. So yeah, the instant revive, the control that he brings, a little bit of damage to the Lord. You add it all up, you're looking at a number 6 on the list. Coming in at number 5 on the list is gonna be Constance. Some might have her lower, some might have her higher. I feel like 5 is a good spot for Constance because she's so unique. Unlike almost every other defender that we're going to talk about on this list, she's actually not used as a tank very often, or as a blocker, I should say, very often. Her claim to fame is obviously her inspiration. She has inspiration from a non-platform unit. I think the second best in the game after Dolores. It's Dolores Constant Fercy. Is that correct? She's up there, right? A very good inspiration. Inspiration, one of the most powerful buffs. It's the most powerful buff in the game, and she has it. Very hard to get. She has it. She can also heal. If she's not a frontline defender, which she's probably not going to be in a lot of situations, she can heal when she's not blocking, right? So she's definitely incredibly unique and absolutely a tops the list in terms of most used defenders in the game for anybody lucky enough to have her. Coming in at number 4 on the list is going to be Olog. Olog, I put even above Constance. Is that crazy? I just love this dude. I mean, there's not much to say about him that hasn't already been said in a billion videos out there, right? An epic top 4 over some of these legendary lords. It says so much, man. But what do you want? He's got crappy base HP, you know, but who cares? He's got the best shield in the game, right? Or arguably one of the best shields in the game. He has so much shield that half the time, not half the time, 90% of the time, you're like, yeah, dude, I'm not even worried about healing him. He's like, he's just got it. He's got it on lockdown. His shield, some say it's cheesy. I love it. I don't care, man. His defense, by the way, isn't too bad. His HP, so in Awakening, again, as we've said about all the other epics on the list, it's a lot easier. It's still not, you know, getting 5 dupes takes time, but it is a lot easier compared to the legendaries to get him fully awakened, ergo take full advantage of everything that he has to offer. So he comes in at number 4. Number 3, we're at the top 3 here, guys. I'm curious if you see anybody, any glaring heroes that I have not spoken about that you're like, where's that hero? It's going to be Gone at number 3 on the list. He's a very unique chaos defender, really good damage scaling. Damage scales off of defense, and we have some like Azor, excuse me, why was I trying to blank on the good old Azor? Champions that scale off of defense in this game? They're all right. but Gon, he's got really big damage. He's also got high block capability, scales up. He's got really good defensive scaling. He's also got a revive, a kind of a revive on death mechanic as well. So an incredibly capable AoE damage dealer, a defender, high block, revive on death. I mean, he's got it all. He's got it all. Damage based on defense is a beautiful thing when it's actually done, you know, correctly, significantly. And he's a chaotic, obviously chaotic lord as well. He's going to give increased faction, obviously attributes, and then increased faction team members damage based on their lost HP, which is perfect for chaotic. 60% at 30% HP. So a great lord on top of everything else. Coming in at number 2 on the list, this was very tough for me, guys. 2 and 1. I went with Cyrus at number 2. Cyrus is my most wanted tank. I have number 1. But this guy's, first of all, I should have been telling you where these guys are good. You can pull up like fastidious.gg or whatever and check out, you know, where you get area rankings on all of these defenders or anybody else in the game for that matter. But Cyrus, I mean, where can't you use this guy, right? He's good in Guild Boss 2, Gear Raid 1, Gear Raid 2, Gear Raid 4, Void Campaign. I don't know where you can't. Codex bosses. You can use him everywhere, right? He is one of the top lords in the entire game, right? He has a 25% skill reduction cost for faction allies. Super powerful there. He's got a ranged attack, as you guys can see. He's got great stats. Got that ranged attack. And he's got these, he's a summoner, right? He's summoning these skeleton fighters, can help out for some damage, but really it helps him tank. It helps him become, with his stats, plus his defender, plus his summons, man, he's tough to get through. Cyrus, excuse me, is really one of the top, and again, one of my most wanted lords in the game. I really want to get my hand on that lord skill for esoteric heroes. Very powerful, but even beyond the lord skill, it's super cool in terms of the damage mitigation on the summons to keep Cyrus alive. Really awesome champion. Number 1 on the list, guys, probably not going to be a shock to anybody out there. It's going to be Brokir. Brokir is the quintessential tank and then some, right? Look at his talent alone. Grants physical damage reduction and magic damage reduction of 10% to adjacent allies. That's strong out the gate as a talent. When possessing freeze, he gains physical damage reduction by 30%, magic damage reduction by 30% as well. My man has freeze, great control. He's got unkillable in his kit as well. He's immune to damage for 8 seconds, can be brought all the way up to 12 seconds. I mean, he has everything, right? A death save, the unkillable, crowd control, really good stats. He is, to me, the best tank, the best defender inside the game. So much control, so much survivability. He can really, like, if I'm in any content where I'm like, okay, I can use any defender on my account, Brokir is going to be my first go-to no matter what. I'm curious about you guys. Who did I snub off the list? Who's your favorite defender that I didn't mention? And who do you disagree with the most? If I were going to give a few honorable mentions to end things off here, guys, I would probably go with, let's see. I already mentioned Hars. Oh, I would go Crodor. I would go maybe Trusk, and then I would go, oh, definitely Isolde, however you pronounce her name. Those would be some honorables that could easily have made the list, guys. Hey, thanks for watching. Let me know what class that you want to see next here on the channel. Much love, and as always, take care, guys.